Welcome back to the Junkman's Garage. Today we're working on a little something different here. We're working on a little two-stroke tiller or mini cultivator, and as you can see, I've already started working in on it. The problem here is, and it's pretty common to not just this exact model, but you know, chainsaws and everything else that has these little two-stroke engines on there. They have, you know, a little primer ball, which is right here, and then some fuel lines that run into a plastic fuel tank and everything. And it's still down in there, but there's a little filter. And obviously, you can see these where the grommet for the tank is, where the lines go through, is breaking off. They get kind of brittle here and everything, and just from age. I mean, this is, I can't even remember how long I have it, but you know, quite a bit of age does this. You know, I mean, people blame the fuel, and there might be something to that as well. I don't want to debate that here, but regardless of the fuel or whatever you do, these little fuel lines are going to crack and break on you. So, a lot of times, like this one, broke off inside here and then broke off in the tank, and you're sitting there hearing that. If you hear kind of a squeaking sound when you have fuel in the tank and it's not sucking something in, this is more than likely your problem. Good thing is this is a very easy fix. I didn't show taking the tank off because different engines are going to be different, but basically the main thing is you want to route these however they came up. There's a little filter on there. Like this is the pickup, and then this is kind of the return, or this is the return, I mean. But both of them are cracked. So you just want to make sure you denote that before you take it off. Same with the primer bulb here. You know, they all come off a little bit differently, but this one, there's 3 little screws that I'll have to take out and then replace the primer bulb. I'm going to replace the primer bulb, even though it's still good, it's not cracked or anything. Just while I got, you know, this stupid, you know, plastic cover that's in the way. So I'm going to get to this, and we're going to replace these parts. Okay, we got our new parts here. Got our new primer bulb, and you can obviously tell the difference. I mean, this one's probably 8, 9 years, 10 years old, and same with the fuel line. It's all discolored. I mean, it's not cracked. It didn't get that long, but while we're in there, might as well replace that one. New fuel line, just got it at a hardware store. Main thing, at least in this application, because it's got to go through this little grommet, which seals into the tank. The outside diameter is important to make a seal there. You know, not every application that's going to be important, so you can just use, you know, that's not so critical. You'll just need to get the internal diameter, so it'll go on to your, well, what passes for kind of the fuel pump / carburetor manifold here. And you'll see there's a little gasket on there. You don't want to tear that. There's a little membrane. And then there's all these little passages you can kind of see in there. And you know what? When people have problems with these, you know, either, you know, old fuel stored in them and everything, or they blame it on ethanol and all that, which, like I said, may be true, whatnot. But when it sits, any type of gasoline sits long enough, it's going to gum up all these little passages. So if you're having troubles, maybe you just need to take it apart and clean out all these little passages in there, and then a lot of times that'll get it running again and everything. And then that's also a good time to change your air filter on these kind of things. So anyway, I also got a fish out of there because this part broke off. It was broke off here, so that's why I didn't really realize my fuel lines were rotted, because it was the chemical reaction probably with the outside of this hose and this rubber piece here is what degraded some of that, because this is right where it was. The fuel line actually is still flexible. It's just it was kind of rotten there, and that's common. But inside is another piece of the fuel line, and obviously they made this cap so you can't lose it. That's going to make it a challenge. I'm going to have to shake it around to get it out of there. And there's a little filter in there I might try to reuse if I can. Okay, we were able to reuse the little filter, and I have the fuel line strung through my grommet, which we're going to put into the back of the gas tank there, and then I'll just have to adjust this, how much hose is in there, because I want enough that it'll lay kind of in the bottom over here, so it'll be able to suck up, or siphon up as much of the fuel out of the tank. And then I will cut it off when I attach it to the carburetor here, or the little fuel pump here. And then I'll use the rest of it to do the other return line that also has to go through our little grommet there, and then I'll replace our primer bulb. Well, that's it. We just cut our fuel lines. We got them hooked up appropriately. This one goes down to the filter. This one's your vent or your return. And we replaced our primer bulb in there, and plus I just kind of cleaned everything up. So now it ought to work just fine once I put some fuel in it. And I did take that that part out. And you know what? This is a pretty quick fix. I mean, like 10 minutes, and most of it was spent trying to fish this fuel line out of here with that little filter on the end. So actually, you know, if your engine won't start and it won't prime, for one thing, and you hear that little whistling sound, this is probably the trouble. And if it's something where the fuel lines have to go in the gas tank through like a grommet or something, chances are they're busted off right inside the tank there, like mine were. Now, chainsaws and everything have the primer bulb as a separate little entity, and a line goes in and then out into the tank. But same idea. And this fix cost about $5 or so, primer bulb, and I bought extra fuel line for my other power equipment that has this similar setup, and that the fuel lines or the primer bulb is going to fail again. So anyway, it's as quick as that. Most people can do it, depending on the type of power equipment you have. So till next time, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like the Facebook page, and thanks for watching.